Hey guys, today we are going to show you how to transform this into this.
Hi Bob, what's your plans today?
Oh, hi Benjamin. Today I think I'm just going to sit out here and get a suntan.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Alright, so today we are going to show you how to take a Fright Props 3-axis skull and make an interactive talking skeleton with it. And we're doing this video because there are a couple different videos here on YouTube, and we've watched a few of them about how to set up and program a Fright Props 3-axis skull. But what they're showing you, the videos that we've seen, they're showing you how to play standard dialogue through the skull and just have it play a standard saying or message like with an MP3 player. And we thought really the cool thing to do with this prop is make it interactive. So a guest could come up, talk to the skull, and in real time the skull could answer their questions. So a really cool idea. Fright Props does sell a kit for this, although we've altered it a little bit, and I'll take you through the details here in just a second. But first, Ben has a message for you.
Subscribe to this channel or this happy puppy will become the sad puppy.
Alright, so let's get right into the build, but first let's show you what you're going to need to make this prop. Alright, and here's everything that you're going to need for this build. I'm going to take you through it one by one. Obviously, you're going to need one of Fright Props' 3-axis skull with the Servo DMX and the power supply. What you need is a 3/8 rod, and this was a 4-foot long 3/8 rod, and we actually cut a 1-foot off piece, and that's what we're going to actually use to support the skull. You got to get a couple of bolts or something that you can thread on to the rod. These are actually made if you're going to put the rod through like a 2x4 so you can stand it up. So we got a couple of things you can screw on, and we got a bolt up here as well you can screw onto the 3/8 rod. Now, Fright Props does sell a wireless microphone with preamp kit. The only issue that we found with it is that the microphone is just a standard microphone. You just hold the microphone up to your mouth. Now, we wanted it to be a little less conspicuous than that because we're going to be walking around our haunt and we don't want people seeing us with a big mic in our mouth. So we actually picked up this amplifier on Amazon. I will link all of the components, the Amazon links in the description box below. This splitter comes with the 3-axis skull, but that'll help with the audio here. And then you do need a couple cheap computer speakers. Those were only about 12 bucks again on Amazon. The link will be in the description. Obviously you need a power cord here. And then here's the microphone we're going to use. So it's a wireless mic. This plugs in to the back of the amplifier, and then it connects right to this headset. So the headset is a much, again, less conspicuous than holding a big microphone like you're doing karaoke, in your haunt or something like that. We are going to use zip ties to attach the rod to the skeleton, and then obviously you need a pose and stay skeleton. This is the Crazy Bones Pose and Stay skeleton, again from Amazon. And then here are just a couple tools that we're going to need as well. Alright, let's get to the build. Alright, so the first thing obviously we need to do is get the tags off of the Pose and Stay skeleton. Ben, go ahead and cut the tags off. Try to, good. Now remove the tags, and then we need to flip the skeleton over because this is an important part of the build. Good, flip him over so he's face down.
This is basically the instructions.
Yeah, basically instructions. I don't know why you would need instructions about the skeleton. You just pop him open and he stays. So flip him over. Now this is important here. So I'm going to come around to you. What we're going to do is we're going to take the rod, we're going to take the head off, and then we're going to take a rod and mount it to the back. The issue is that the spine actually it's almost anatomically correct. It's got bumps here. So if we just attach the rod to the spine, it's going to be off to the side and the skull will be on crooked. So we've actually got to shave some of this down. First things first though, let's remove the head, because obviously if this skull is on there, we can't fit the other skull on. So we're going to pop out this screw here.
Then it would be a two-headed skull.
So all we need to do is get this screw out here, There's 3 screws in the back that attach the top of the spine to the actual skull. And this is an easy one. I don't have to saw this skull off. I can just pop it right out. So if I get those 3 screws loosened up, this skull just kind of sits in there. We can just pop the skull right off. All right, now we were going to try to actually thread the rod down through the spine, but it's not exactly hollow in there. These screws fit through little channels, and we would have had to bore all of that out. So we think the best idea is actually just to mount it right here on the back. But again, I've just got to use just this little hacksaw and shave some of this down just to flatten it out just a little bit, just so this rod fits on it more flush. All right, here we go. I'm gonna hold them in, hold them down. Here it goes. We're gonna do it one by one here.
And what you can actually do is, if you get one of these, you can actually hang this on like your doorway. Like on Halloween, you can hang this on your front door. If you have one of those knob things, you can hang this and then it would be like a decoration.
Creepy and new. It's like you're getting 2 decorations for the price of 1, right?
Yep.
The skull is actually tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
To saw through. Yeah, we got 1 more vertebrae to go on the
Yay.
neck. Now the spine is all
great.
The spine is all flattened out now. So now the pipe will fit right in that groove, which is perfect. We don't care if it's a little messy looking back here. We just need this to sit flush right against it, right about there. So that should be about perfect. I think I might flatten this out here just a little bit, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
This is gonna be okay because we're gonna have a kind of a cape on him, so you're not gonna be able to see any of this stuff in the back anyway. Plus, the skull has a big thick wire coming out of the back of it too. The 3-axis skull, the components really are in the skull, so they had to kind of do it that way. But it does make it, a little less realistic because there's not just one thin wire coming out of the skull. There's a whole bunch of wires. All right, almost through here.
But that skull is not the exact same color as this bone.
Not exactly, no. We try to match it up the best we can, but again, also we wanted a skull where you could just pop the head right off. One screw was really simple. You didn't have to saw the head off.
We could have used that one or the 2 up there, but we didn't want to use any of those because then we would have like no skeletons besides this.
That's right. We needed other ones for like his. He's the king and he needs his subjects, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So make sure like Ben said, stay subscribed. Not just so the puppy stays happy, but also because we're going to show you how we're going to use this for some prank videos around the neighborhood, and then also in our haunt coming up. All right. So here we go. We got this basically all flattened out now. You can see that we sawed off. The spinous processes is what we sawed off. All right.
Like that.
Now this should fit right on there. Look, does it fit?
Yeah.
Perfect. Look at that. All right, so now we're getting ready to attach the 3/8 rod to the back of the spine. Now, this is important. We had to measure because the 3-axis skull will articulate in all 3 directions, obviously, and then the jaw moves as well. So you want to make sure, because we're attaching it to the back, that it doesn't run into the top of the spine, because that can burn out the motors. So we've got about 2 inches of clearance here from the spine to the end of the rod. Now what we're going to do is use the zip ties to zip tie this all together. All right, now like I said before, an important part of this component is using something that you can thread onto the 3/8 rod just to keep it, the 3-axis skull is kind of heavy, so you want to keep this from sliding up and down. So you want to kind of slide this down to about where one of the vertebrae would be and let it kind of rest against the vertebrae. I'm going to slide it all the way down to the top of the back. So let's get it to where there's about 2 inches off. There, and then right off of the back. And then what we're going to do is just use 3 white zip ties so it almost matches exactly the skull. So we're going to just zip tie it all the way down.
Anytime now.
First.
Not actually this part, but
All right, so we can always make little adjustments because we can twist the rod, and then this point right here, this axis will actually allow this to be adjusted just a little bit. So it's actually kind of a good design. You know, we didn't even really mean it to be that way, but look, I can twist the rod now and it makes this longer, or we can twist it and make it shorter, just depending on how high we want the skull, because we don't want to be able to see the rod through. We don't want there to be a gap here. We want it to look like one continuous piece. All right, Ben, you want to cut off?
Yeah.
Good, that's one. Come on. There, one more to go, right here.
Oh, I didn't notice that one.
When I keep it as, yeah, there you go. All right, now, doesn't look all that great from the back, but from the front, you can hardly tell. So next thing we've got to do, obviously, let's connect on the skull.
Yay!
All right, so here, let's attach the skull to the pose and stay skeleton right onto the 3/8 rod. Now you notice we have a sandbag sitting on his lap here. The skull is not light, so we want to stabilize the skeleton for now until we figure out actually how to get him stable on the chair. So what you're going to want to do is the pose and stay skeleton has a hole where you stick the 3/8 rod through, and then you're going to use an Allen key right here to tighten it up. Again, there's more detailed videos on how to do that here on YouTube. All right, so he's on there, but he's leaning. So what I'm actually going to do again, just temporarily, I think, is just tie him back. We're just going to use a couple of the zip ties tied together to do that as well. So yeah, he's just leaning forward. So we are going to definitely need to stabilize him. I think eventually what I'm going to do is just run the rest of that 3/8 rod down and then actually have a stand there at the bottom. So for now, we're just going to tie him in. And we'll just put 3 of these together. Uh-oh, Ben's gonna hold him back with his robot claw. Your robo claw, and we'll knock him over.
The last one we had, you made me trip and smash my face.
All right, it's on there. We're gonna fire him up and let's see what happens.
Hey, Dad. I have a name for the skull.
Yeah, what's his name?
Bob.
Oh, and he's alive! He's alive!
Hi, Bob.
All right.
Say hi, Bob.
So he's up and running. He looks pretty good. Can't see the bar through. I think that looks awesome. Pretty close color match. Not exactly, spot on, obviously, but this is looking good. It's not too stable yet, but I want to show you first how we're going to hook up the audio. And one more quick thing just about the 3-axis skull specifically is, it does have this big thick cable coming out of the back of it, so we are going to have to figure out a way, because it's not very long. It's not like the long audio cable you can kind of run away from the actual skull. This is a pretty short cable, so we're actually going to have to attach it kind of back on the seat probably. For now, I've just got it kind of set up here on Ben's shooting target. All right, so now let's connect the audio. Okay, so if you're using the one that we are using, this amplifier here, it's got an auxiliary in, and it's also got a mic jack in the back. So what we are going to do is we're going to hook the splitter up to the auxiliary in, and then we are going to hook the Bluetooth wireless receiver to the microphone. Now this needs a converter. It came with one, so we hook that in right there. And again, this is Bluetooth, so I have to pair it now. Let me show him the headset. Ben's got the headset on. He's going to do the talking. We've got to pair this together, but first, the next thing we need to do is we will plug one of these cords in directly to the audio for the skull, and the other one will go to the speakers. All right. Okay, so one mistake, I don't know why I said this, but so there's auxiliary in, and then there's a headphones jack. And I don't know why I said you plug it into the auxiliary in. You're actually plugging this directly into the headphone jack. And again, one of these is going to the speakers, and then the other splitter is going directly to the skull. I've got this paired. Everything's turned on. As soon as I plug this in, Ben is going to get to talk. Stick that on, my friend.
Yeah,
get ready to say something cool. Stay out of the way of the camera so that they can see the skull talk. Go for it. So now Ben can be off to the side and watch this. Oh, hey, Mr. Skeleton. I think you're getting a little thin there. What happened?
Well, I didn't bone, so I don't have much. What happened?
All right, so we got some really cool plans for this guy coming up really soon. Make sure you stay subscribed. I hope that you liked this video and found it useful. And happy haunting or happy pranking or whatever you're going to use this for. See ya.